This morning, I was reading my emails and I got an email from somebody telling me that they are 17 years old and they are receiving grief from other people, specifically other men or other boys. At age 17, you are still a boy, a child in my eyes. But he basically told me that he was receiving grief from other boys because he's a virgin at 17 years old. Okay, a child, a teenager, mind you. Some people at 17 haven't even hit puberty yet. And he's telling me that, other men are making fun of him for being a virgin, for having his V card. And I really want to address this topic because I feel like this is a problem that a lot of men have. There's a lot of external pressure from their surrounding peers, the people that are in their age range or just from society in general to lose their virginity at a young age. We're taught that innocence in a man is not a good thing. It's unattractive. It makes you less appealing to women and less respectable to other men. And I want to help you guys develop the type of mindset that I had and still have to this day. Okay, now to give you guys some context, if you're new to my channel, I am 21 years old. Okay, I just turned 21 in March. I lost my virginity when I was 20 years old. Okay, this year, a few months ago, I lost my virginity to my girlfriend. My very first girlfriend, mind you. Okay, I just got my first girlfriend this year at age 20. And that's another thing that I'm probably going to touch on later on in the video. But, I always thought that losing your virginity and having sex just for the sake of having sex and bragging rights, especially bragging to other men, was kind of weird. Okay, and I think part of that is because of how I was brought up. I was never brought up to think that way, not only with, my family environment, but with my friends as well. My friends weren't really the type of people to brag about losing their V cards because most of them weren't losing their V cards either. Okay, most of my friends did not get any type of action until after high school, including myself. And I think that all of us kind of found solace in that fact, understanding that we weren't alone in not losing our V cards at a young age, so it didn't really affect us, or at least it didn't affect me personally. I can't speak for all of them, but I can speak for myself. Now, like I said, I never had that insecurity. I was a very, very, very insecure person at 17 years old, but that is one insecurity that I simply never had. I never understood why you should be insecure about choosing to not have sex with somebody. Sex is not hard to come by. That's what people need to understand, okay? Sex is not something that you should brag about. Having a high body count is not something that will earn my respect in the very least, okay? And you may not be trying to earn my respect, but I'm just giving you my opinion. The same way that those people tend to give other people their unwarranted opinions, I'm giving mine. I don't think that, it's a bragging point, and I don't think that you should put others down for not having the same body count that you have. And I think this is especially a problem in the black community. But even, despite race, despite whatever your background is, as a man, and especially as a teenage boy, you have probably faced some degree of external pressure. And a lot of my subscribers, or maybe not a lot of them, but a good portion of them, a good portion of you, are probably virgins, which is why you're watching this video. You're looking for some type of validation for being a virgin. And truth be told, it's sad that I even should have to give you any type of validation for being a virgin. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. And that's why when I was a virgin, I made it a point to make sure that I owned it for all of you guys because I wanted to give you guys that validation. Now, with that being said, losing your virginity to the right person is worth the wait. It is worth the wait. Okay, you shouldn't go out and, do hookups and things like that just for the sake of losing your V card. It's just going to be empty pleasure. It's no different than beating your meat. Okay, at that point, you might as well just beat your meat. Save yourself the time, the money, and save the girl's feelings. Okay, because now when you get somebody else involved, you are, potentially causing that person trauma for your own personal benefit. Just because you want the bragging rights of saying that you lost your V card. Make that make sense to me. Where's the logic behind that? Because in my opinion, that is insecurity at its finest. A lot of men are very, very insecure. And that's why they're so judgmental. Generally speaking, in life, not even just within the context of virginity, but in life itself, the most judgmental people are also the most insecure. If somebody is putting you down because you are a virgin, that says a lot more about them than it does about you. Because the chances are they have these insecurities within themselves that they feel like they need to offload and project onto you. Because they're basically telling you that if they were virgins, they would hate themselves. That's all they're telling you. And truth be told, if somebody's pressuring you and their words are affecting you in that way, that means that you need to do some inner work as well. That means that you have these insecurities from within. And the chances are you have these insecurities because you're comparing yourself to other people. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being a virgin at any age. Okay, there's nothing wrong with going your whole life being a virgin. I waited 20 years to lose my virginity, and truth be told, I could have waited 20 more if I needed to. My mind is in a completely different place than most men, and I'm not saying that I'm better, but I am different. I think differently. And this is what I feel like a lot of men should do. Instead of placing your focus on lust and instant gratification of having sex, especially meaningless sex, you should learn to transmute that desire into things that actually matter in your life. Sex is always going to be there, but opportunity won't. You need to take advantage of the opportunities that are presenting themselves to you. When one door closes, another one opens. If for some reason you are having trouble with getting a woman, maybe that means that you need to place your focus elsewhere and allow that thing to flow your way. See, that's what I learned. I didn't get my first girlfriend until January of this year, right before I turned 21. And it didn't come until I stopped focusing on it. Almost my whole life, I placed so much focus into the idea of having a girlfriend. But at the same time, I lacked the confidence to actually go out and try to get one. And what I realized over time is that that's not a good combination. If you lack confidence and you place all of your self-worth into external sources, i.e. girls, you're not going to love yourself fully because you're placing your self-worth into the hands of other people who might not be able to carry the load of their own self-worth. Maybe they're learning to love themselves. You can't rely on someone else who's learning to love themselves to love you as well, to show you that you're worthy of being loved. You have to find that love from within. And it starts with, first of all, isolating yourself from people that constantly try to tear you down. If you find that your friends are always putting you down for being a virgin or for your struggles with dating, the chances are those are not your friends. Those are people that you should cut off. Those are people that you should leave behind. It doesn't mean that you have to hate them or have resentment towards them, but it means that you have to put your own peace of mind first and eliminate these distractions in your life, because these people are projecting their negative energy onto you, that resentment that they have of themselves, that conditional love. They are projecting that onto you, but that doesn't mean that you actually are obligated to inherit their negative belief systems. That doesn't mean that you should inherit their conditional love. Part of loving yourself is learning to let go of conditional love and replace it with unconditional love. To say that I don't care if I'm a 50-year-old virgin. I still love myself because my self-worth is not defined by my body count or by my ability to get a woman into bed with me. My self-worth is defined by my very existence, the fact that I am here, the fact that, I am basically a miracle walking. Just the fact that I am alive, I am a miracle walking each and every day. And there's much more important things than sex in this life. There's much more important things than losing your V card, especially if you're still a child yourself. Now look, sex is great, but I feel like as men, especially as men, we build up the idea of sex so high in our minds, we put it on this pedestal, that we can never actually reach those expectations with anybody. And I think that that's part of what hookup culture comes from. I think that hookup culture comes from people pedestalizing sex and getting bored very quickly because they realize subconsciously that sex is not all that they made it out to be. And this is where things like semen retention come into play, where you learn to stop using your lust and start using your intuition. Start using that part of you that knows that you deserve better. Okay, use your higher self and become your higher self. focus on leveling up and focusing on loving yourself, giving yourself the validation from within. Understanding that you don't need women to show you that you are worthy of being alive or being loved. You don't need validation from fellow men, telling them your body counts and things like that. These people don't actually care about your body count. If another man cares about your body count, you really have to think about that. Okay, think about how strange that sounds, that another man is invested into your body count. That says a lot more about him than it does about you.